Hey everyone, welcome back to another tutorial from TechMag. I'm Kaveh and today we are going to connect Claude Code to Nvidia's NIM API. Now before we jump in, let me quickly explain what we were actually going to do in this video. There is actually an important reason that why we can't just plug Claude Code directly into Nvidia's API. So Claude Code basically sends its API request to Anthropic's endpoints. The problem is if you try pointing those requests at Nvidia's API or some other API that has not been made by Anthropic, the request will likely fail because the format just doesn't match. We are going to run a local web server on our machine using a project called LiteLLM Proxy. This server sits in between Claude Code and Nvidia's API, or basically any API. This proxy server receives the requests from Claude Code, then converts it to the right format and forwards those requests to Nvidia or any other provider that you are trying to communicate with. Basically think of it as a translator between Claude Code and Nvidia's API. So now let's continue the rest of the video in our computer, of course. Alright, the first step that we need to do is to download LiteLLM AI Gateway. And in order to do that, I just open a terminal and write this command, pip install LiteLLM Proxy. If it didn't work, you can also use this command, which is almost the same. But I'm going to do the same main command, which is pip install LLM Proxy. So as you can see, the software has installed on my PC. And if I want to test it, I'll just write LiteLLM -- version. As you can see, the LiteLLM version is here. And it means LiteLLM is installed. Now, once you have installed LiteLLM, you need to create a config file for it. And there are several ways to do that. If you're on Linux, you will need to use the touch command in order to create it, or any other command that you like. If you're on Windows, you can just simply create a text document and then change the format to YAML and then hit yes. All right, so if you try to open the config file, as you can see, there's a configuration like this. So what we are trying to do here is to trick Claude Code to think that it's making requests to Anthropic servers. So we are naming our model Claude 3.5 Sonnet and Claude 3.5 Haiku. But the proxy server is basically mapping those requests to Nvidia NIM servers. So basically Claude Code makes a request to LiteLLM with this key 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then LiteLLM makes a request to Nvidia, which is my actual Nvidia API key. And you can choose any model from Nvidia API, but it should be like the name should come after this slash here. So you should keep Nvidia NIM / and then this would be your model's name. Now, in order to get an Nvidia API key, you need to head over to this website, build.nvidia.com, which all the links and all the text will be in the description of the video. And you hit login and just log into your account. Now, once you're logged in, it should look something like this. You should see the initials of your name or email here. And once you click on it, you can see API keys button here and click on it to go to the next page. And as you can see, this is a list of your API keys. Just hit generate API key, name something and generate key. Make sure to copy this API key and maybe paste it here. See, I'm doing the same thing. And you can change the master key and you can change you can save all of your passwords and your tokens in environment variables as well. But in order to make the video easier, I'm just saving them directly, and don't try to use my API keys because I'm going to be deleting them after the video. So okay, let's move on to Nvidia website again. Go to the models tab, and as you can see, there are a bunch of models that you can use, but there's a problem. If you use a really popular model like Kimi K26, your request will go into a queue. So it will take maybe up to a minute until you get an answer. So try to choose a model that is not that popular, but it can it can help you do the job. So I found out that if you try to use any Nvidia made models, it would be much faster. I don't know, maybe because they're hosting their own models. So once you click on the model, you will see a chat box here. You can ask why sky is blue. And it should be able to give you an answer. If you got an answer maybe in 10-15 seconds, so it means it's good. But if you see a message that says you are in queue, like you're 44 in queue, you need to wait a few minutes in order to get your response, it means this model is not going to be working for you. As you can see, I got my response here, but what we actually need here is this part of the link. So this is an Nvidia model. So I'm just going to copy the name of it. If we try another model, as you can see, like Kimi, this would be the name of the model. So what we're going to do is to open the config file again. I will put the template of the config file for you. We just copy it after this slash here. See, I'm just going to paste it here again. It's the same, but I'm going to paste it anyway. And this is the config file for our LiteLLM Proxy server. Once you have changed everything that you wanted, just hit Ctrl S and save it. And go back to the folder that you have the config file, open a terminal there, and then write the command LiteLLM config.yaml. If you wait a few minutes, you see that LiteLLM is basically running, and it says it is being hosted on your local host with port 4000. So we're going to leave this right here, and then we're going to open another terminal because we need it in order to install Claude Code. So this is the Claude Code installation page. If you're on Mac OS, Linux, or WSL, you can use this command, but if you're on Windows, you can use this PowerShell command, which is pretty straightforward. So I'm going to enter this command and just wait a few minutes in order to install Claude Code on my system. All right, now in order to test and see if Claude Code is actually installed, we write Claude -- version. And as you can see, Claude Code is basically installed on our system, but do not write the Claude command because we want to do the configuration of Claude ourselves. Now, in order to change the configuration of Claude Code, you need to head over to this folder. So once you're on this page, you need to click right on the settings.json and edit it with a notepad or any kind of text editor. You can even do it with Nano or Vim. If you check the description of the video, I've also provided you with a ready config from Claude Code, which you can copy and paste it in the settings.json file. Here we are telling Claude Code to use this model, Claude 3.5 Sonnet, which we are saying to LiteLLM Proxy that once you heard anything from this model, it means that you have to redirect it to Nvidia API. And we are telling it that our endpoint is basically localhost port 4000, which what we are serving LiteLLM Proxy on. And the Anthropic auth token would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is the same as master key that we have set on the config.yaml. So once you have done this, hit on save, and let's head over back to our terminal. Once you're in terminal, write the Claude command. And as you can see, it asks you, if this is the first time you're using Claude Code, it will ask you about them and some settings. So I'm just gonna hit enter, I don't care. And there are some security notes. I hit enter again and it says, do you trust this folder? I say, yes, I trust. And we're good to go basically. Now we want to see if our requests are being directed by LiteLLM or not. In order to do that, we write the by the way command and ask why sky blue. Before I hit enter, I'm just gonna open the LiteLLM server here and you can see the logs. Once you hit enter, it says answering, and there is a request being made here, and the request has been made before I open the terminal in order to make sure the model is there. And as you can see, there are another request and I got my answer. So this answer is basically coming from Nvidia's API, and I haven't paid a penny for it, no credit cards or anything required here. And basically that's how it works. So if I write the command, create an app.js file for me with a simple functionality, I'm not even checking the dictation. If I go back to my folder, I'll check and see if it created. And it asked me, do you want to create the app.js file? I hit yes, and the file is here. All right, as you can see, I've managed to connect Claude Code to Nvidia NIM servers perfectly fine without entering any base URL or anything. And the key for that is the configuration of LiteLLM. As you can see, there is an Nvidia NIM here. This model name, this prefix tells LiteLLM to request to which endpoint. So if you want to use, for example, DeepSeek API, you might need to change this to, I don't know, DeepSeek or something, but you need to check the documentation of LiteLLM Proxy and see what is the correct format, correct prefix for DeepSeek or any other website that you are trying to buy an API from. All right, I hope this video was useful for you. If you have faced any problems during the video, if you couldn't install anything, just send me your error, the problem that you have, and explain what is the problem. I will try to answer as soon as possible and fix your problem. I will see you in the next video.